All right. Well, see where we're going to plant you. I guess over here for now. We'll leave the camera facing this way. Cousin. I'm going to fix up some coffee. Get some tunes started playing. We're not in no kind of a hurry today. Just doing some very last minute stuff. I think we're going to do an oil change on this bike. Wanted to change the primary fluid and the oil in the Super Glide over there. Unfortunately, shipment got delayed, you bastards. So I ordered a little something different. I tried the Lucas Motorcycle Racing 20W50 oil in my electric glide. So far, so good. I'm kind of liking it. Seems to be that if you know your bikes, the TC engines tend to run hot. Okay, that'll turn oil black right quick. And this stuff seems to be holding up to that very well. So I like it. I want to run it in the Super Glide. But I also ordered primary oil. Essentially, in your primary case, you usually just use gear oil. Well, Lucas makes an oil just for that. So we're going to give it a try. And I was going to do the Sportster, but honestly, you know, we just looked at the primary drive oil in that last week when I adjusted the clutch, and it don't need it yet. It can wait a little bit. The Super Glide, however, does need a 2-hole oil change. The gear oil is crystal clear. There's no point changing the transmission fluid. It looks brand new. But the primary, yeah, it could use done. So I figure we'll use the primary oil I ordered for Sportster in the Super Glide. Problem is, it has not arrived. It was supposed to be here Thursday. And for whatever reason, delay in the Jungle website's shipping. So there's that annoyance. But I do have some pretty decent quality 2050 VR1, which will be perfectly fine for the Sportster for what I do with it. We're not racing it. We're just enjoying it, riding it around, and the oil that's in it's pretty thin and dirty. I suspect it's honestly like probably 1040 oil, and it should be 2050, especially for the summer. So we'll go ahead and change the oil out in that with something fresh. And I got a new filter. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And I believe on a Super Glide, I took it out for a ride the other day. Really haven't ridden that bike much in 2026. I took it for a little rip around the other day, and I know I adjusted the clutch at the beginning of spring last year, and I seriously only put 500 miles on it. And I don't like the way the clutch feels. I got a little too much. You should have no play in your clutch lever on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. And I got play in that one. That's weird. We're going to investigate that. It could just be that I adjusted the clutch in a hurry and didn't do it right. So we're going to investigate it and get that perfect. Hey, what we got going on here? What's up, Grunk152? Hey, BMX Austin, what's going on, buddy? And next project bike we got here is something I'm not too familiar with, so it's just going to be a learning process. It's a CBR 600, and it's fuel injected, and it ain't happy. The guy took it to the Honda House in Pittsburgh. I don't know their new name. The shop was always called the Honda House. It was idling at 3,000 RPMs. Well, he told me they adjusted something with a screwdriver and brought the idle down to 1,000 RPMs. The bike has never run right again, which is weird. To my knowledge, you do not adjust the idle with a screwdriver on a fuel injected bike like that. I still got some research to do on it. Yeah, it's something I'm unfamiliar with. It's a project I took on because the fella is really good friends with my stepson, and he did some work in our house for us. He redid our bathroom and cut us a serious break on the labor, and used his connections to get some of the materials very cheap. So we're going to do him a solid and cut him a break on labor, get his bike up and running properly. But with that comes the fact that I've never fooled with a fuel-injected Honda as such, and I'm not a sport bike guy, so it'll be a lot more research than wrench turning before I get into that. And it's a holiday weekend, right? So I'm just going to mess with my two bikes today, the Sportster and the Super Lad. And that'll be today's adventure. And then we'll go from there. I think we got a cookout here at the Phoenix Motorsports compound. We got a cookout happening Monday. Bunch of different folks coming to hang out. Charlie, if you're watching this, dude, you and the family are welcome to come fill your bellies. You know you're always welcome at my place. My food is your food, brother. What the hell is... Oh, that's garbage. So that's the deal on what all's going on with that. So it's shit and raining out, which sucks because I wanted to go do a little relaxation and just motorcycle riding today. And can't ride a motorcycle. Next best thing is to be in my shop working on one, right? Don't mind me as I straighten things up a little bit. Dude, I'm busy throughout the week. I'm killer busy with my day job, so stuff like, you know, getting the shop cleaned up proper. That don't always happen. Times I end up just throwing stuff everywhere and run down here for a tool for the house real quick and just throw it on a bench and call it put back. Which is probably boring as shit for y'all who watch the live streams because they always start out with me cleaning. Gurkrat, I think that's how you say it. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in and being patient as I fart around and clean up a little bit before my live stream actually starts. Got to find a proper place for this too. This kind of bugs me a little bit, but this is my dad's. I bought it for him. It's a Dremel set, and his health ain't too good no more, so he can't really do the things that he used to do with this, so he gave it back to me. A little tackle box, got bits, everything you need. It's actual Dremel brand. It's a pretty good one back in the day. When he was in better health, he sit on the porch and it's even got the engraving, you know, the pen, all that. I have to get the stand for it, but I got to find a place to put this. I don't know what I'm ever really going to do with it. I might polish some things, different polish tips. You know, I even got some carbide burrs and stuff. So there may be some stuff I'll do with this, but he told me it's just been sitting on a shelf collecting dust for the last few years. He said, you might as well take it. Maybe you'll use it in your shop. So, well, it's mine now. Will it fit in the abrasives cabinet? Probably not, but we're going to put it there. I'm going to move some stuff over here. Yeah, it'll fit right up in there. I got just a shitty cabinet hung on the wall. Called the abrasives cabinet. I keep my sandpaper and spray paint and shit like that just to keep it out of the way. All right. Well, we're halfway policed up here. Coffee's beginning to be ready. Let me get me a cup of this stuff here to get the day started. I'm good for a pot of coffee a day, I swear. On the weekends, Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports good for a pot too, so we end up usually drinking a whole pot, and then I'll come down here and make one for me. Yeah. All right. See where we're at with the Sportster. Shouldn't need a lift to do this. It's about as simple as it comes. There's the oil tank. The oil tank has a hose for a drain. You pull the plug, you drain it, you put in fresh. Oil filter goes on the other side. So, oh, I forgot to put this way. I just forget precisely which side that little hose drops down. I think it's over here. Pretty smart setup on Harley's part, the way they did it. Pretty cool, actually. Makes life super easy. All right, let me grab a rag real quick. I'll show you what's up with this oil and why we're changing it. Well, the bike got 4,000 miles on it. I got it with like 3,900, 38, something like that. I mean, the oil's dirty, but doesn't really smell of gas. As you can see, it's thin. I don't know if we maybe change this oil and put 1040 in it. But summertime, Harley Davidson, even in an 883, you're gonna want 2050 in it. You just are. It's what you run on that bike, 2050. Unless you're like out riding it in the winter and it's air cooled, so it's gonna get hot then anyway. You still want 2050. See here. The Jungle website has sent me the filter. Be sure it's the proper one. I've been using these a lot lately. I dig the K&N motorcycle filters because they have this little nut on the back, right? And it makes them real easy. You don't need a filter wrench to change them. Go grab the other one here. I got one for the Super Glide. I believe it's K&N as well. No, I got a Wix for that. Yeah, I did get a Wix. The Wix was a couple bucks cheaper, and it's a well-known name. Let me mark the box so I know which bike it goes to. It's pretty much all Evos are going to take the same filter. I don't know if we're going to... And I'm still waiting for you all to come in. It's definitely the right size around, but it is a good bit longer than I don't even know what I got on there. It might be a K&N. I don't think it is. Might be some no name. Put this on the shelf here. I'll match up this and be sure that it's the right one. I'm sure it is. It's got a K&N on it too, coincidentally. I don't know when the oil was changed in this bike last. It's not filthy, but start things off right. Yep, and here's what I'm talking about on these. Why I really like these. You get a little bolt built in the back. It makes it super easy to change them. And K&N makes quality stuff. You can't dispute that. So I would kind of like to have a chrome oil filter on the Super Glide, but it ended up being a black K&N, or excuse me, black Wix filter because I ordered it on my business account. Got a discount, shipped right to the door. And honestly, it's $10 cheaper than if I went down to the local O'Reilly's and bought a K&N chrome filter. So that's the route we went with it. Because the K&N filter from The Jungle website would have been way cheaper than buying it in store. Problem with that is it wouldn't be here till next week. I'm not sure what they're doing, if it's the holiday weekend or what, but their shipping's kind of whatever. Stuff that should be delivered overnight. I don't pay anything extra because I got the business account, but should be delivered overnight. It's taken 2-3 days, which is weird, but it's still free. So that's just how we're going to roll with it and not complain, right? I got to retire this thing. It's time for a new EDC pocket knife. I use this at work like all day, and for what I do with it, I don't cut boxes. I just cut open like plastic things with it, and I use it literally all day. So I end up losing them, beating them up. They get screwed up. So I usually buy literally like the cheapest knives I can get. I like Ganzo knives because for a cheap knife, they tend to hold up. I mean, they use cheap Chinese steel. I understand that, but it's not like I'm out there trying to skin deer or, you know, whatever, cutting open plastic dumpster liners with it. But I think I'd like something higher quality. Doing a little research and found one that I think I like. I might order it here. 2050 VR1. Right the fuck on. All right, let's get started. You want to come with me over here for a second? Take a look, see what we're doing. Now, on a Sportster, it's not as important as on a bike like these metric bikes you see. Okay, you have separate oil for your engine and clutch on a Sportster. Your gears and your engine will run the same oil. But on some of the metric bikes, one oil flows through everything, like the Honda Shadows, the Suzuki Volusia 800 I just had in here, Suzuki Marauder 800 that I had in here. Depends on how far back you watch my stuff. The first one I started going live and working and making videos at this particular shop was a Ninja 250 Kawasaki. One oil does the whole thing, engine, transmission, and clutch. So you have to make sure you use an oil compatible with that or your clutch will slip. Someone who's smarter about oil compositions can explain it better than me. But I can tell you the VR1 it's a higher zinc in the oil. You don't necessarily need that for a Harley Davidson. It's not going to hurt anything, but you don't necessarily need it because you're not running a flat tappet cam, you're running a roller cam. And the zinc basically works like a cushion. I don't know how else to explain it. Flat tappet cam, that little bit of cushion in there keeps you from eating up lifters and cam lobes. And then you see I got a whole quart of this here. Actually, I could put this in the primary, and I just might. But this is Lucas High Performance Motorcycle Oil in 2050. I trust it. I've tested it. Works well. Does the job just fine. Let's get a pan under here. Got that cracked. Get you down a little lower so you can see what I'm doing. Hey, what's up, Charlie? All right. Oh, is this a hose clamp on this? Should be just a hose clamp. All right. Oh, it's been a little while since I've done one of these. Should be, yeah, right there. Hose clamp to this bracket. And then that feeds up to the oil tank. Yeah. Okay. Right on. What did I do? You know, we don't want special effects. Hey, what are we doing? Let's turn you around here. Okay. Maybe you can see this, maybe you can't. How do we adjust you so you can? Ah! You turd. All right, basically, you're down here. You got an oil line. It goes up to the oil tank, traces down over, goes into a pipe elbow, and right here on the bracket for the exhaust. Pop this line off to drain your oil. And you pop that line off, your oil drains out there, and basically the only thing you're draining is this a dry sump system. In other words, the crankcase only should have a little bit of oil in it at any given time. Okay, so that's the name of that tune. You're basically just draining out the oil bag, also known as the oil tank, however you want to call it. And is that a flat bladed or is that a, I don't know. I probably ain't got a socket that small, do I? Let's see. I'd rather use a socket on it than a screwdriver. All right, let's grab a flat blade screwdriver. This metric set? Yeah, it's metric. We don't want that. Probably have 5 30-seconds if I had to guess. Usually that's what them hose clamps are. 11 30-seconds. It's going to be too big, I think. Let me find you the proper socket that I want to use. That's definitely too big. All right, I got a couple to get started with. I don't want the damn thing to leak, that's for sure. Oh. We got 9 30-seconds, maybe. Possibly, maybe. Oh, no, don't drop it in the oil pan, you turd. 9 30-seconds is going to be too big, isn't it? Yeah. Can I just get it loose with a screwdriver? That'd be so nice if I could. So much easier. Yeah, it came loose. Okay. And basically, you get this here clamp loose. Put it out of the way. And it should just... Yep, there we go. And it'll just drain right out. Take a little bit. But that's the name of the game. I do have some Lucas oil stabilizer to put back in when I refill this. Oh, goodness. My hands wiped off. Which, in my Harleys, I like that stuff. It basically, it just thickens the oil. I've done some research on it. It doesn't have a real high zinc content to it. So as far as additives and things like that, there isn't really anything crazy additive-wise. There isn't really anything crazy additive-wise in the Lucas oil stabilizer. It's basically just like really thick dino juice. But on a air-cooled Harley-Davidson that gets hot, that's a really good thing. You're going to want some thick oil in it, right? Because you just do. No, on these, I don't do the whole start the engine and warm it before you change the oil. You're draining an oil tank, not a crankcase. Okay, so personally, it's I don't feel it's necessary. I just don't. I just open the plug and let her fly. Stand there for a minute with my thumb up my butt, talking to you guys about what else I'm going to do today. I really cut back on the smoking. I didn't quit entirely. I smoke on the weekends now, throughout the week. They're getting on us. We have a new HR guy, and he doesn't want you to smoke in the work truck. So I've been using them little like Zen and On little nicotine pouches, because if I go without nicotine, I'm going to choke a motherfucker. That's just what happens. I'm very cranky without nicotine. But those things satisfy me enough that I can get through my work day. So I went from like a pack a day, sometimes a little more, to, you know, you're looking at 7 packs a week at freaking $10 a pack. And now I smoke maybe 2 packs a week, not even. Usually I buy a pack Friday afternoon, and I'll end up buying a pack probably Sunday morning. And half of that pack I'll just give to Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports, because we smoke the same brand. And them little On pouches that I use at work, they're seriously, dude, they're like $2.25 a can, and I get like 2-3 days out of a can. So we've cut our nicotine costs in half, which is cool. I would like to completely quit, but that's just not in the wheelhouse right now. It's not. I got too much going on with work and in here with the shop. I'm just too busy, too frustrated, to everything to completely quit the nicotine habit. No, it's not my sister's bike. That's my beater bike. It's my other 2 Harleys. I got big twins. I also like small bikes. I got a built Evo Super Glide, and I got a pretty much stock. Well, let me get a text. And I got a pretty much stock Ultra Classic. But if I'm just going across town or grab a pack of smokes, or if I'm just going to rip up some back roads, I enjoy that little 883. That thing is super fun. Of which, the place across the river, if you follow my videos, I'm going to have him do my heads. I'm going to put 1,200 jugs on it, flat top pistons, and a set of Fueling Reaper 515 cams. We're going to build us a little screamer. All said and done, should be about 90 horsepower in about a 500-pound package. Be a lot to handle. It's going to be fun. But that's a project for over the winter. Right now, this is the bike that you take out on a day when it's raining, but you feel like riding and you don't want to get your good bike all dirty and futzed up. You know, it's a good bike for that. Or to ride to work where somebody might back into it. We have a gravel parking lot, you know, and if I ride my Ultra Classic there, I could spend 4 hours shining that bike and making it look pretty, and then I'll park it there and it looks like total shit after a 10-hour work day because of the dust in the air. This bike I don't worry about. I wash it, do the maintenance on it, and I ride it. And that's all I do with this bike, and that's what I bought it for. I usually, as far as what I call a beater bike, Like, I almost never have just one motorcycle. I'm not that guy. Okay. I usually have, there's times in my life I had up to 5 bikes running and riding at the same time. All right. But I usually have at least 2. I have one cool special bike that I don't ride that much that I keep pristine. That's my baby, and that's my Super Glide. And then I'll have a beater bike of some sort that you just take out and thrash around. Well, you're looking at it. That is this bike, and that is what it is for. Taking out and having fun. Different things. We go to these different events you'll see me filming at and stuff. I got buddies that if their bikes broke down or if they don't have a bike at the time, but they want to come, I'll let them ride this bike, man. Yeah. That's a real bike too, dude. That Sportster shit, girls' bike, get that the fuck out of your head. This is model started, if you know your history, started as the K model in 51, 52 to compete with the Triumphs. Then we went up into the XL and the XLH. That was the race bike. That's what the Sportster started out as, a racing machine. Because a big old heavyweight elephant like that could not compete with the British bikes that were coming in at the time, power to weight ratio, right? So initially, they put together a 55 horsepower, 500-pound bike to compete with the British bikes that was their weight and power output. They also shifted on the right. The original Sportsters all shifted on the right until 1975. But they got this whatever machismo. Fellers with little peepees that feel that they have to have a great big motorcycle to be a man. Those kind of fellers is what started the whole Sportster's a girl's bike thing. To me, it's not. To me, this is like, for real, it reminds me of riding a 1970s dirt bike. It's super fun. It's lightweight. With the simple stage 1, dude, it pulls me. Like, watch my video on this bike. I did like a 0 to 60 on my Ultra, and in the same spot that a 0 to 60 in this bike, and it hit the same speed at the same time. You know, and that's a much bigger engine. Everything else, this engine's like half that size. And when I'm done with it, I do the big bore kit and get the heads done. Power to weight ratio it's gonna scream. It's still a bike that at 100 miles an hour you're terrified on, because it's like essentially a dirt bike, you know. But when you're talking 90 horsepower to 100 some horsepower on something that weighs 500 pounds, you're talking something that'll seriously get down the road. Now, it's not the kind of machine that you want to take out and ride all day or put down 500 miles in a day. Quite frankly, after 50 miles, I'm ready to get off of this thing. But for what it is and for what I do with it, just to rip around in town here and have fun on, I couldn't ask for a better machine, dude. I honestly have more fun on this little turd that literally I paid $1,500 for it. Needed a carburetor rebuild and a set of tires, because the tires on it were the original tires from 1996. This bike has 4,000 miles. So I got essentially a brand new Harley Sportster that was just past its break-in period for $1,500. Like, I seriously don't understand why more people aren't snapping these things up for the price they are. But, you know, not everybody's me. Not everybody has a garage full of motorcycles, right? Maybe you're the type of person that one bike's all you can do. You know, I get it. Right on. I mean, I keep a little extra cash laying around for doing just this, you know, my motorcycle addiction. I've always got cash laying around for that. And I fix these bikes for people. And if you look here, the last bike that left here, I still have the estimate up on the board. And we got The carb kit, labor on that come out to $480 upcharge. Okay. $597, which we upcharged that a little because there's a few extra labor things. I basically put $600 in my pocket for 8 hours work, and that was cutting a dude a discount because I know him. I knew his dad real well. You know, cool dude. And the motorcycle in question was being sold to a local chief of police here. So you want to make sure it's done right. You always want to be cool with the cops, right? It's always good that they, because when you look like me, a lot of folks will look at you and think you're something you're not. And I get that out of folks and police and everything else. So I'd rather them know who I am and like me. So I did them a deal. But anyway, stuff like that, $600 in my pocket. Well, that goes into motorcycle money. That doesn't pay bills. That goes into the shop, tools, hot rod parts for my bikes. So I have money set aside. I don't really want any different motorcycles. I'm happy with what I have. I have a touring bike. I have a Dyna to rip around town and have fun on. I'm a little Sportster, and the Dyna, it's mildly done. High compression pistons, aftermarket camshaft. I do not know if the heads are ported because, well, I didn't take them off the bike to see. I do know it has an Andrews EV27, very mild cam, but gives you a little bit of a lumpy idle and a little boost in mid-range. And the Ultra has had just a wee little bit of stuff done. Nothing performance-wise, mainly reliability-wise. We had the fueling cam plate, high-volume oil pump, and hydraulic cam tensioners put in. Just to make it a reliable bike. If you know your TC88 bikes, you change chain tensioners every freaking 20,000 miles to be safe. You can go 40. But once you switch to hydraulic, they're good indefinitely. You look at them every 50,000. Oh, that's way too tight, guys. Do not do this to your oil filters. Ghost, if you're watching, you turd, if you change the oil, do not do that shit. Okay? Don't make them that tight. Please. Ghost is a gentleman I got this bike from. And he bought it, yes, from a lady. A lady that was 4 foot 10 inches tall. So this bike was perfect for her. Obviously. Feller of my statute, or size, or whatever, however you want to use the terminology. This is a bit of a small bike for a fella of my size, but for her, this was perfect. My buddy Ghost picked it up because he wanted to build a chopper out of it. And he just never got around to it. Life got too busy. He decided he wanted to sell it because he needed some cash flow. He's got a Triumph chopper. It's actually pretty badass. Videos of it on my channel. And he doesn't really have time in his life to ride that chopper, let alone time in his life to build this into what he wanted it to be. So brought it to me to rebuild the carb so that he could sell it, because, you know, I don't know what you know about selling bikes, but if the bike doesn't run, it's oftentimes very difficult to sell. And it had been sitting for a very long time. Carburetor needed rebuilt. So I did that for him. And I'm looking it over, and I said, buddy, you absolutely need 2 tires on this bike. You can't ride it on these. They're from freaking 30-some years ago. So we did the math on that. Cheapest I could do that for him was basically free labor because he's my good buddy. But another $300 for a couple of tires, which turned into, I don't want to do all that because it'll take all summer to sell it. People generally won't buy the 883. They want the 1200. Which I got you. It's a numbers game with people. And he said, well, I was only trying to get $1,500 out of it. I said, all right, dude, I hear you. Tell you what, I'll buy it. That's how I ended up with it. Because I figured this bike would be a good one for the channel. Make videos on rebuilding the carburetor, and we did a quote stage 1 kit. It's not a fucking kit. I basically put the proper size drag pipes. They're good bikes, especially running around in heavy traffic. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's why I like this. But, we jetted the carburetor, put a cheap eBay open air cleaner with a K&N filter. We put a set of drag pipes that came from eBay. They were literally the cheapest ones I could find, because most of your more expensive brands were running a 2-inch drag pipe. Okay. Now, even the 1200 Sportster, even like your done up, straight up drag race bikes, 2-inch straight through drag pipes are too big. Okay. Sure, they sound cool. When you downshift, they have that crackle, and I dig it, and that's what my Dyna does, right? But we wanted a little bit of performance, so I found a set of 1 3/4 inch, and I made a set of old school lollipop baffles for it. Installed them. Like I said, rejetted the carburetor, and lo and behold, this little thing rips, dude. In stock form, when they're all choked up, full exhaust, full air box, air cleaner, all that happy horse crap. They're all choked up like that. You're looking at like 45 horsepower, maybe 50 if it's a cold day, dense air. You uncork them, and they run consistently 50 horsepower to 55 if they're tuned right, which this bike is, and on a 500-pound bike, that gets you down the road pretty good. And it's not to sneeze at. You're not going to, rolling burnout after rolling burnout and riding wheelies and stunt bike it. I guess you could. You're going to have to severely beat on it. But a gentleman my size on a bike like this can get 0 to 60 quicker than any car on the road. Right about there. That's about all the more we want on that. I do not fill my oil filters before I put them on. You're sitting at an angle like that, it's almost friggin' impossible to do it without making any more of a mess than I already did. But once you drop a 1200 kit, the thing is with the 883, you get smaller. Hold on a second here, folks. I gotta check something. Okay. You've got smaller ports in the head and smaller valves in the 1200. And the older ones, they run a smaller combustion chamber, right? They try to get low end torque as much as they can out of an engine this size, and it works. But when you increase the size of the cylinder, you add a camshaft that has different duration. In other words, the camshaft I want to use isn't a super high lift cam. We're going from like 0.460, something like that, 0.465 inch of lift to 515 inch of lift. So we're not going crazy on that, but the duration is different, meaning that valve is going to stay open longer. And they're going to have a little bit of overlap, meaning the intake valve is going to open before the exhaust valve shuts, and exhaust waves going out is going to suck some fresh air into the combustion chamber, filling the combustion chamber better. And in the midst of doing that, building more power. because we're going to keep the factory heads, which have a smaller combustion chamber than 1200. We're going to raise the compression by putting bigger pistons, having what is known as a squish band around the piston. By doing this, this will increase low RPM power, mid-range power. Also will mean that I will have to use high octane gasoline, which is what I use in all my motorcycles. Christ, I put 93 octane in my lawnmower. There's less corn juice in it. That's just what I use. Air-cooled engines, I use high octane gas. It's more expensive, so what? Bikes get 50, 60 miles to the gallon. Once it's built, it'll be more like 40. If you can't afford, high octane gas in a motorcycle, you shouldn't be owning a motorcycle. But end of the day, just the 1200 kit alone, with the setup, pipes, and carb that I've got, it's going to put me up around 70, 75 horsepower. That's plenty on a 500-pound motorcycle. That's plenty, especially a cruiser bike. This bike doesn't have the suspension to take the back roads and go crazy. Doesn't have the brakes for it. Just a cruiser. Ride it, enjoy it in town, cruise around. Well, if I can boost low to mid-range power, so when I'm red light to red light, when I romp the gas, should be able to pick the front end up without really bouncing, snapping clutch. You should be able to just blip the throttle at first and second and wheelie if you want to. Just like a big old dirt bike. And that's what this feels like riding. So basically, we're not trying to win races. We're making this bike more fun by adding power. That's the whole point, right? It's just a fun bike. Just a fun bike, man. I got a few empty quart bottles. I should have transferred this into a quart bottle to make my life easier. But I didn't, and here I am. And we'll put some Lucas stabilizer in with this. Like I said, it's an oil thickener. It's all it does. But, it's summertime. I'll be riding this bike when it's hot. I generally don't ride it easy. Every time I take it out, I end up beating on it because it's fun. So why not have some thicker oil in it, right? It'd be better if I just dump this right into the motor, or right into the oil tank. But I know if I do that, I'm going to spill it every friggin' layer. I don't even think we got a quart in here. Do I have an empty quart bottle? I don't think I do. Because my life would be a whole lot easier if I transferred that into a smaller bottle and then dumped it in. You know what? I gotta... let's just do it. Get it over with. Paying attention to what I'm doing. The mouth stops running then, huh? Oh, how much do we got in there now? Probably a quart and a half. Okay, let's take a look. See down inside here. Can I see anything yet? Nope. Yeah, we got a way to go. Can we be done today? Can we be done today? I'm tired of farting around. Can we be done today? Yeah, should get my other funnel that has a bigger opening on the end. This would have been a lot faster. But here we are. And I have spilled oil all over the exhaust, and it's soaking into the header wrap, which means it's going to stink when I fire it up and that starts to burn off. I am not looking forward to that, but whatever. I'm not sure what we got in here. We've got 2 quarts, so I need maybe another quart before we worry about checking it. You really got that much going on in the shop today. I had a guy coming at 3 o'clock with a hub from a car that I got to press apart and set in the hydraulic press it apart, press a new parts in it. I don't know. He tried explaining. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I have a press. Just bring it over. I'll do it. And that's about it, really. Get ready for Monday's barbecue. Got to hit the local Walmart. Grab up a few things for that. Okay, let's see where we're at. And of course, I cannot see in there because I'm blocking the light. I'll just stick in. All right, we're on the bottom of the stick. We're going to dump some Lucas on top of that, thicken her up a little bit. And we'll fire it up, and when it fills the oil filter, we'll probably have to add another 6-7 ounces, something like that, maybe 12 at the most. I'm going to have to get another bottle of this for when I do the Super Glide. I don't really know if this stuff is necessary, but I do know it's going to do more good than harm, and it ain't going to hurt nothing. I said all it really does is thicken your oil up. And well, summertime's here, so we already had a 90-degree day. So why not put the thickest oil in your scooter you can get? Right? Right. All right. Let's get me a little sip of coffee. Wipe the spillage up off the floor. Swear to God, two things that I can't do. I can't mess with oil as far as changing it or adding it. I can't do that without making a mess. And I can't paint something with a paintbrush without making a mess. Those are two things I absolutely suck at. I just do. Okay. Now, let's do two things. We'll grab a flashlight so we can look in here and verify that we have oil pressure once I start the engine. And see if we have a leak there at the filter. I don't think we will. I think we should be just fine, but the cool thing on a Sporty or a Softail, you look right down in this hole and you can see the oil returning, so you know instantly where they got oil pressure. Choke. Key. A couple of whacks of throttle. Hit the button. Probably don't want much choke. Let's back that off. Okay, no leaks. We got oil flow, oil pressure. That job is done. I will change the primary fluid in a few days when the primary fluid gets here. I'll check our level, top off if need be. Yeah, we could use a little more. I see 2 marks on the stick. Where it's at. We're on the lowest bit of the level. But I wanted to leave it down there until I got the Lucas in it. Got it fired up and mixed around in there. Okay, let's do one funnel and then we'll check it. This funnel holds about 6 ounces. Okay. That's probably plenty good, to be honest with you. Nope, see that? Close, but no cigar. 2 funnels low we were. Well, let's fill another funnel. Really wish it wasn't pouring down rain today. I'd love to take this thing out and whoop on it around town a little bit. Like, I don't care about the roads being wet or a little sprinkle on this bike, but it's literally pouring down rain right now. So at least it was when I walked down here, which sucks, but whatever. Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports has a laundry list of shit for me to do before the barbecue Monday. So we went out and cut grass in the rain yesterday. There we go. So that's done. The yard looks decent other than clumps of grass everywhere from cutting wet grass in the rain. Oh, yeah. Almost full to the top, but that's actually where we want it because it's going to expand when it gets hot. So when the bike is good and hot, that will be pretty much full. Funnel out here. Put this on the shelf, put the funnel in the pan to drain. And that's all this bike really needed. For now, like I said, I want to change the oil in the primary, but that will get done on another day. And I got about 2 3/4 quarts left of this, plus a quart of Lucas 2050. I about could change the oil in my Super Glide if I wanted to mix the two. I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to keep it all Lucas in that bike. This crap put away real quick. This out of the way here. Wipe this little bitty bit of oil off the floor. And then we can move this out and move the Super Glide in. We'll fool with the clutch on that a little bit. Okay. That might help if I actually drained this oil pan, huh? Stand this thing up over in the corner, let it drip. Damn it, can I spill any more oil on the floor today? It's not a good day for me and oil. Get my hands wiped off real quick so I don't get oil all over the bike. Actually, you know what? Here. This is good for you. You should do this. You take brake clean like that. Yeah, and you do one of them with some brake clean. That's good for your skin. I don't want oil all over my grips and shit. Okay. You are good. That's all you needed. Let's get you backing out of the way. Put you back over here like this. Get you guys moved to where you can see what's going on a little better. Okay. Put my hoodie somewhere different. All right, let's move the big boy into position here. And I do believe all I got to do is take some free play out of the clutch lever on this to be happy. Because I do know that I only put 500 miles on this bike since I last adjusted the clutch. And it's one of them, when I have time, I take it out. I don't ride this bike often. And I'm pretty sure I just didn't adjust. See that? I shouldn't have that free play. So I'm pretty sure I honestly just didn't adjust it right from the beginning. So let's mess with that. Take that free play out. Probably should just adjust the clutch properly while we're here, while we're in it. You know? And I guess we could just do that and call it done, right? Oh, crow. I'm going to have to put her up on the lift to do that. I forgot. Because the gosh darn primary oil will leak all out of it if I don't put it up on the lift. All right. Well, let's do that. I really didn't feel like messing with it, but here we are. Now it's not going to pinch the clutch cable. Oh, right about here. Something like that, maybe. Don't remember the exact lift point because I haven't done it in a while. Yeah, I guess pretty good on that. Okay, she's good to go. Am I going to be able to get a safety strap on her and still do the maintenance I want to do? Yeah, I could get at least one strap on the bike. Really shouldn't use a lift like this unless you're going to take the time to put a safety strap. It's your bike, it's your lift, it's your tools, it's your life. You do what you want. I don't like replacing parts because my bike fell off the lift. So when I do this, I put a safety strap on it. Try to go up and around like that because I think we're going to have a look-see at the primary chain tension on this machine while we are in here. Because I haven't checked that in a while either. Okay. All right, just so we know it ain't going nowhere. And something that really annoys me when I'm working on a bike is when the front end flops around. So let's see if there's a way I can maybe do something to prevent that, huh? Exactly how we're going to do that, I don't know. Maybe a bungee cord on either side might hold it. Something like that. Because we're going to have to be messing with the clutch cable. And, yeah, I just don't want to have to fart around too much. Having the front end flopping all over the place. I'll do a bungee right there. And do I have another bungee cord laying around? Would make my life easier if I did. I got one in here. Yeah, I got one in here. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just take a little soft bungee cord like that. And then we'll go over here. Like that on this ratchet strap. It's not going to be, like perfect, but that should help. No, that made it worse. Huh. That didn't help at all, did it, guys? What if I took like this, loosen the bungee cord, right? Again, this is just something that annoys me, so I'm trying to not be annoyed, right? The bungee cord up here. Okay. Take this here. Pull that straight. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Over here. There we go. Is that going to be a little more better for me? Yeah, there we go. Stupid, right? But it keeps the front end from flopping around, which annoys the shit out of me because I got to loosen the clutch cable up. We got to open up the inner primary here on the side. And we'll make sure the clutch is adjusted up properly. Pardon me, folks. I've got to go pee, and I'm not bringing it with me. Okay, I'm back. All right. Let's get back into this here. And get you set up where you can see what I'm doing. See what I mean with the bungee cords? It just, you can still move the front end, but it's going to hold it and keep it from flopping around, which it's just an annoyance with me when you got the whole bike in the air like this. And the whole reason the whole bike is in the air is simply it's not level. When I pop this open, I'm not going to dribble oil all over the floor. Coffee, baby. I do not function without proper levels of caffeine. All right. What do we need? I know on the Sportster, it is hex, Torx, hex, whatever you want to call them goddamn things. On this, yep, it is those as well. So, I don't think we're going to need an oil pan. The bike's standing straight up. Which drawer are they in? Yep, they're right here. Can you guys see what I'm doing real good? Okay. All right, these are worth having. Even a relatively inexpensive set. They make your life a whole lot easier than using the funky L-shaped Torx screws that you get Hobo Freight or wherever you get them. These come from Amazon. It was maybe like $25 for the set. It wasn't very expensive at all. But they're very, very nice to have. So what you got kicking here? Count them 1, 2, 3 Torx screws. Ooh, I really need to polish that. That's looking rough. So is this. That's looking real rough. I usually keep that nicely, highly polished. Maybe we'll wash this bike here over the weekend and we'll get to polishing all this, huh? I think it deserves it. You can definitely tell that I do polish it. I don't know if you can see that, but that's mother's polish kicked up inside there, inside these screws. Yeah, find the right size. We need the next size up. All right, one more. Will this go? You basically keep going bigger on size until one won't fit. And then you go back down one. All right, that's the right size. These should not be gorilla tight. They only need to be at like 15 pounds. Do not over tighten them. They're a mother to drill out. Even 15 pounds is a bit much. Because seriously, you can smash the gasket enough to seal it like 5 pounds of pressure. Why would you use more, right? As long as the gasket is sealing, you don't need any more pressure than that. So do yourself a favor. Tighten it only as far as it needs to go. Actually, wait a minute. I'm going a step too far. Before that comes off, I need to put a bunch of free play in my clutch lever. Then you can take this apart and do your adjustment in here. It's not like a metric bike. You don't adjust it just at the cable ends, top and bottom. You actually got to open up the cover in the engine to do any adjustment. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. I'm going to try to show you all the right way. Get this booger slid up all the way. Look at that, there's a little tickle of rust starting on that. Man, I really got to do more with this bike. Anyway, should need a 1/2 inch and a 9/16. Let me put a little drop of juicy juice on that. Probably won't need it, but we're in it this far. Let's put some juice on it. Damn it, I was trying to use just a teeny bit and not freaking blast it everywhere, but we ended up doing that anyway. While that's in there cooking. Hey, what's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? Clutch adjustment on a Super Glide, man. You know how to do this, brother. We're just teaching other folks how to do it. How you feeling, boss? I know you just got back from the hospital yesterday. I'm glad they was able to fix you up, man. 9/16. Nope. Half, yep. 7/16. Nope. Nope. 2 halves. Whatever. Things change over years and years. We're just messing with another Sportster and adjust a clutch on it. And pretty sure this was 9. No, this was half, and this was 7/16 on that other Sportster. But guess I'm wrong. Or maybe it's just different because this is a Super Glide. Don't know, folks. I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah, we're going to have to let that PB blaster settle in there and do its thing because that lock nut does not want to move. All right, can we maybe make this one happen? Like, can we get this backed out of here like this? All right, because that lock nut's about frozen in there. And it's turning pretty easy. This lock nut does not want to move at all. And because it is 7/16 and it was just bored up, that's why the wrench didn't want to fit on it. No. All right. Go to my bag of tricks. Let's try 12 on it. Okay. 12 fits it nice. Sometimes you'll run into that. You get a bolt that's a little bit boogered up from being stuck or whatever. And did I literally just put my, messing my own tools up. But anyways, you'll get a bolt that's a little bit boogered up like that. And go ahead and go up or down a size in metric. And sometimes it'll fit her a little better for you, a little more better, and get the job done without rounding the dang thing out. There we go. See, it worked perfect. Yeah, she just got a little boogered up. The corners are a little bit boogered up, and you can't fit a 7/16 over it because the corners are boogered up, right? And oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be locked up tighter than freaking Fort Knox. You may have to let that sit with a little bit of juice on her. All right, PB Blaster, where is my can of Kano Croil? Where in the devil did I put that? Because that is really what I would like to use on that. Did I take it up to the house? There it is. Absolute best stuff to break something free in the entire world. Summer kickoff event. Hold on a second. Good, still fast heartbeat next week. More fun. Now, listen, man, they'll get you fixed up, brother. I got faith in the Lord. Summer kickoff event. Are we talking about Phoenix Motorsports summer kickoff event? I did not see a post for it. If they have one this year, I will absolutely be there, man. It's not very far from me at all. And, really good friend of mine, longtime friend, is a mechanic over there. I don't get out there too often to say hi to him. I don't get over his house too often to say hi to him because life is what it is. We're grown-ass men now. And we're not riding around the woods on our dirt bikes doing hooligan stuff like we used to when we were kids. But definitely, at least we'll make a trip over there to say hi to my buddy. And I'd like to film it again this year for sure, man. Absolutely. But I did not see anything on social media about them doing that this year. So I hope they are, because it was a cool event. Got to meet dude from Cycle Drag and that. He's actually in my video, which was hella cool. Beyond hella cool. Actually, cool dude. He's a very high-strung little fellow. That Cycle Drag guy. He is high-strung. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee, but oh my goodness, that fella is high-strung. He don't need no more coffee. You know what I'm saying? I'll use the smaller inch down here. Basically, what we're doing is we're threading one fitting into the other. I still don't want to spin my hand. And we're making the cable housing shorter, which makes the cable longer, which puts more and more free play in that as we go, and that's what we want. We're going to put a bunch of free play in this, and we're going to open up the primary, and we're going to properly adjust the clutch from the side there, and then we're in the cable once we've accomplished that. Bit of a tedious process, but on a Harley Davidson, that is how you adjust your clutch. A few other little minor things. I got to lube up the shift linkage on this bike. And I need to adjust it, as you know, sometimes carbureted engines can get a little finicky when it gets chilly out. The air is denser. Okay. So your idle mixture, sometimes you need to close the air off to your idle mixture just a tiny, tiny bit once it gets cold. And in the summer, when it's really hot and humid, the air is not as dense. Therefore, you need a little more air in your idle mixture. I mean, if you're really anal about your bike like I am, I want this thing tip-top running condition at all times. But honestly, in summer, we moved in here. I literally moved everything in here in August, end of August, and we were so friggin' busy. I didn't get to ride too much. And at that point, I also had the electric glide, which I just picked it up. I'm like a motorcycle favoritist. I pick a favorite bike for a little while. Like right now, my Sportster is my favorite bike to ride, right? So I put more miles on it than anything. Well, last fall, my electric glide was my favorite bike to ride because, I had just gotten it in May, and I still didn't get all the new bike syndrome out of my system. Look you guys around. I can't. June 6th, 3 to 7. Yeah, I should be there. I don't think I got anything. Don't think I got anything scheduled for that day, so I should be able to be there. This way I can read your comments while I'm doing my thing. I'm going to need a long, somewhat narrow-bladed screwdriver. This is the one I usually use for adjusting clutches. But yeah, I should be able to be there, man. Which will line up about right. I usually try to drop a decent video every couple weeks for you guys to watch. And in the last year here, I've been trying to do more quality videos. I hope it shows. Like whatever I was working on at the time or whatever, I'd throw a video up. Now I've been trying to pay more attention to like what you guys actually like to watch. And as far as working on bikes, a year and a half ago, I was buying beat up bikes, nursing them back to life, and then selling them. Mainly because I didn't have the garage space to actually take on customers. Okay. Now that I do, and I've got the 3 bikes that I like the best: Super Glide, Electric Glide, and Sportster. Those are my 3 favorite models. The buying of bikes has really seriously backed off for me. So we're doing more videos on events and rides and riding and stuff than anything else. Yeah, we're definitely full. And honestly, I don't really even think that primary oil needs changed. Probably could change it, but I don't really think it needs it. Anyways, I'm gonna need a wrench. Somebody just sent me a message on Messenger. When I am done with my live, I will see what's up, buddy. Right now, you gotta wait. I'm in the middle of doing something. I think that's 9/16. No. Oh, look at that. Did I just... I swore I just moved it without touching it. But I couldn't have. No, that's just a little play. Okay, it's 11/16. Yeah. Okay. And we will need a Allen key. I really like these T-handle sets for stuff that you don't really have to crank on. This is the one we need. Then again, I'm backwards. Last Harley I was on was a Sportster. We just did this off camera to the 883, adjusted the clutch up for the season on it, and off camera because the owner of the bike didn't want his bike on camera, which we respect that. We replaced a clutch basket, inner clutch basket and bearing on another 883. I really don't like how they do this. This isn't the best wrench for this. And I'm almost going to want to put a socket on that. And that's a little tighter than it should be. Need like a wrench like such for that. Didn't think I got one of them. Let me look in my other drawer. Yeah, I don't have one. Dang it, dang it, dang it. How did I do this last time? Let's see if an 11/16 socket might break it loose for me. I don't want to booger that up. I'm sure, beyond sure, that this doesn't need adjusted, but we're in it. So let's see what we got happening here. Size, get the tweak like it. Just didn't want to round that nut. Okay, loosen up the nut. And then we're going to go in with this guy. Ooh, yeah, we need it adjusted. Pretty simple, okay? You go till it's snug. Wow, it was way out of adjustment. Well, be golly, no wonder. Huh, I didn't ride this bike too much. So wonder it needed that much adjustment. Go till she's snug. Okay, you don't really want to go beyond snug. Just till it touches, you'll feel it. Okay, till it touches. And you back it off quarter turn. Like that. And then put your wrench on her. Tighten your lock nut. There we go. Let me get another little. I don't feel like I got that as tight as I'd like. I'd like that lock nut a little better. There we go. Okay. And I should really hit this sucker up with some polish. That would actually be a good job for that Dremel tool. Then I got it off. I can lay it flat and do it. Let's finish the job at hand, because I can take this back off in just a few seconds if I need to. Where did the clutch needed that much adjustment at? I know I rode it really hard a few times there. I made a couple of videos. I beat on this bike in them videos. That Sound of American Thunder video. I opened her up. I whooped on this bike pretty good, man. I guess I ate up the clutch a little bit in that video. Well, you'll have that, right? I'll take this goofy extension off of here. I don't need it for this. Again, this doesn't have to be tight. All you're really doing is putting pressure against a rubber gasket. You feel them when they get snug. When they get snug, you're done. That's all you really need to do. About like that. Like that. About like that. Okay. Okay. These put away. Of course, my hands are greasy. There we go. These put back in their proper place in the box. I see somebody has commented. I will be with you in just a second. Very good. Oh, that you just sent it. Oh, okay, cool, for sure. MacGyver, what is that? Yeah, MacGyver. I will check it out as soon as I'm finished up here. And I will also make a post and a short video, and I like to do that. That way, when I'm out at these events filming, I'm starting to get a little bit of a following. Like, whatever, man. I'm just a dude that makes YouTube videos, but there are some people that recognize me when I'm out and about. And to be honest with you, that is hella cool. So I invite everybody to these events and, like, dude, come up and say hi. You want your bike on camera, man? Like, I'll let you talk about your bike and be in a video and that if you want to. You know, it's just, I like to be personal with people and let them get to know me and I get to know them and all that. It's a super cool thing, man. Motorcycle community is friggin' awesome. Everybody's cool with each other. You know, folks get along great. And I absolutely love it when folks show up somewhere to an event that I'm at and say hi. It's awesome. It really is. Okay. Now, as you can see, this was touching the handlebar. That's how much adjustment we got down there. Okay. That's why when you adjust a clutch on a Harley, you have to put a ton of free play in here. Okay. You adjust it down there like I showed you. And then you come up here and you take your free play all the way out. All right. That was all the way at the handlebar. And see how much we gained right there? That tells you that absolutely needed adjusted. I didn't think it did, but I'm glad I took a little bit of time and did it. Okay, so 12 is the lock nut. Should be able to just hold this with my hand and go ahead and wind this out. My fingers ain't as strong as they used to be. I could still do this by hand, though. When we did the other Sportster, I had my buddy with me there, the customer or whatever. He ain't a customer, he's a friend. And he pretty much knew how to adjust it, so stood there and had him do it. He had much stronger hands than me, so he just spun his out by hand. I still need a wrench. I'm getting old, dude. The arthritis is doing what arthritis does, man. It kind of sucks. I don't have the hand strength, especially after they rebuilt my wrist from that bike crash. You can still see the scar right down it. I don't have the hand strength that I used to have in my right hand. But God made it so that humans have a bigger brain and we can figure things out better than other of his creations. So you can almost always find a better way to do something. I think we need just maybe a quarter turn. And maybe an eighth of turn. And that is perfect. I'll go ahead and wind our lock nut up. And lock it down. Boop, just a little bit like that so it doesn't move. All right. Don't think we're taking this or the Sportster to that event. Although I would like to take this. I personally hate the way saddlebags look on this bike. I'm not a person that enjoys riding a motorcycle while wearing a backpack. So, more likely than not, when I go to the Mositis event, I will be taking my electric glide simply because I have hard bags and it makes life a whole lot easier as far as transporting my GoPros and batteries and microphones and all that happy horse shit. All right. We noted the primary fluid is full. We know that's a thing and it's good. Get this cover back on here. All right, now see where we're at. Put these away. We will no longer need them. And let's get you around to this side. Check some fluids. What we got here? Somebody about to be pulling your shovel tank. Fucking right. It's like YouTube knew. Why is the camera flipped? I got the camera flipped this way so I can read you guys' comments. I'm just doing this with my phone on a cheap, like Five Below friggin' dollar store stand. I flip the camera the other way is a lot of my friends and stuff will jump in the live chat and talk to me and stuff. So then I got to stop what I'm doing, get up and walk around the other side of the camera to see what I'm doing. So I run the camera flip this way. That way I could see the screen and, you know, respond to you guys. What kind of shovel? What year? What model, dude? I love me some Shovelhead. I've never had the pleasure of owning one or working on one. It's definitely in my wheelhouse at some point. I've got a million and one things to do, man. Me and Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports just got this house and shop August of last year, and as much as I would like to just drop some coin, much as I'd like to drop some coin on a couple of the Shovelhead projects, don't tell Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports this. I got some money saved for that, right? Gotta whisper. She might hear. She wants the deck on the back of the house redone, which I got you. We're going to get one more summer out of it, and there goes my Shovelhead fund. But, you know, I got away with owning 3 Harleys and stuff like that. So it's coming in the future, and I'm probably not going to sell this bike, but I might sell the Sportster, which would, you know, still leave me a little bit. Bags on your striker. Have them. Remember not to have them and hate it. I am like you. Yeah. I always carry some tools, but like for what you need on anything that would go wrong for this bike, you could fit in one of these, and I have one of them on my Sportster. And it fits the bill well for this kind of stuff. You know, spark plug wrench, some little stubby wrenches, some screwdrivers, does everything I need it to do, you know. Okay, now we got the bike on the stand. Let's check the oil. We're going to change it here in another week or two. Honestly, we're still getting a lot of spring rains, so this bike don't really go out that much this time of year. Doesn't get ridden as much. The Sportster does. So between the two of them, I figured it would be better to do an oil change on the Sportster first. Change this one later. We need Allen keys. And like I said, the primary oil in this definitely needs changed first. It's dirtier than the Sportster, so when that comes via the friggin' shipper, we'll change the primary oil in this first. Check the transmission oil now that she's level on the stand. Oh yeah, full, and as you can see, that is absolutely clean as a bell. This is actually running gear oil in the transmission. The manuals and Harley tells you 2050 in all 3, right? But old school guys will tell you. I've had guys tell me transmission fluid, ATF, in a tranny of a Harley, but more old school guys have, with much more Harley experience than me, will have told me 80-90 gear oil. So that's what I'm running. I've worked on bikes all my life. I owned a couple of Harleys prior to these three that you see. Okay. We had a 92 Heritage Softail that I probably should have never bought because it needed more work than whatever. And I learned a lot working on it. Coming from the metric world of bikes into the Harley world, they're just different. I'm not going to say they're better. I'm not going to say they're worse. They're just different. Didn't have a lot of Harley Davidson experience at the time, but I bought it. It needed some stuff. I got into it, and I found out it had a lot of hillbilly-fied stuff. The inner primary bearing for the clutch was shot and howling, so we tore that down. It's a job. You have to take the entire inner primary apart, which if you're, used to tools and being a mechanic, it's not that bad, but here's the thing. Every nut and bolt was stripped inside there. I found that the inner primary case had been cracked in 4 different places and then welded. They did a half decent job, but welded together. I had to do a lot of helicoil work. The little locking tabs to hold the bolts, they were busted off. We didn't, come on, man, them tabs are cheap. So when I got into it and I seen that, I'm like, oh boy, Bubba worked on this, some hillbilly shit, and just got it running, right? I don't like it. So I got it up and running, ended up, pandemic screwed up everybody's life and screwed up my life in the process too. Where are we at here? Okay. Full hot, full cold. So here's the cold level. It's a little tough for you guys to see, but cold levels here, the hot levels here. That's how much that oil will expand in there. Ended up selling that bike. I also had a 1200 Sporty, which the reason behind that was after a horrific motorcycle accident, I was foobarred, right? I could hardly walk, but I wanted to ride. I couldn't hold up. I had a Honda Shadow at the time that was just sitting, and I was riding that, but it was honestly, even a Honda Shadow was too heavy for me to hold up. That's how messed up from that bike wreck I was. So we ended up dumping the Shadow cheap, putting some money to it, and bought a 1200 Sportster because I figured it'll have enough power for my fat behind, and it was light. And yeah, dude, I love that bike. Should have never got rid of it, but I did. Ended up trading it on a VTX 1300, which I got screwed on that deal royally. Too long of a story to talk about and too aggravating to talk about. But prior to me buying this Harley, my Harley Davidson experience was limited to a 1200 Sportster and a really sacked out Softail that was, it had a big cam in it and the heads were ported, and it really, really screamed on the top end. That bike was strong running. Problem with it is, seeing how somebody did the inner primary, I don't want to know what they did to the rest of the engine. So, and it was probably somebody that didn't have a lot of Harley experience and learned as they went. I understand. The kid I got it from didn't do any work to it. He just, and his better half talked him into selling it. Basically, he had just had a kid, and one of his buddies was hurt and nearly killed in a bike wreck. So his missus was like, "You're a dad now, can't do this. Leave the bikes alone, get a side by side, have fun in the woods." I can totally respect that, man. Family first. I gotcha. So I ended up with a bike. And, it don't matter how hillbilly-fied something is. I'm sure it's usually good for, one season, which is what he did. He beat the hell out of that bike for one season. I ended up with it and tried to right all the wrongs. And the idea was to turn it into a bike like this, which is old. It's a 1995, but it's in pristine condition. And that was the whole idea, was to do that with that 1992 Softail. She needed more than I was capable of doing. The pandemic, everything else, money was an issue. So, like I said, I'm not one of them folks that's going to tell you Harley's the only bike and it's the best bike. I want to tell you, I don't think they're any better or any worse than any other motorcycle. They are just different. And once you're used to them, how they operate and what they do, you might like them better than any other bike. And right now in my life, the way I'm feeling about stuff and what I do, I kind of do like these better than other bikes. I just do. I mean, there are certain bikes that, you know, I don't know. I still love me some Honda Goldwing. It's just, I absolutely hate working on them. And unless you're spending really big money, you know, 10 grand or more and buying a pristine Goldwing, low miles, where I'm at, you know, the, I don't know, $5,000 range, something like that. Goldwing you're going to buy is, it's going to be a little beat up. It's going to need some work. And if you've ever worked on a Goldwing, you'll understand why I swore off on them. I'm done. Nope. Never working on another Honda Goldwing unless you pay me top dollar. You know, and my labor rate on that is, top end of my labor rate to fix your bike is $75 an hour. And you bring the Goldwing, I'm probably going to jump it to $100 an hour because they suck to work on. They just really do suck. Great bikes. They absolutely suck to work on, dude. Take it to a Honda mechanic. Leave me alone. If you're my buddy and your Goldwing needs work, I'll help you. But they're not for me anymore. And let's see, I got a little drip or two of oil from around the oil filter, which means we need just a little more snuggy snug. That ought to do her like that. A little extra snuggy snug on the oil filter. Wasn't leaking when it was running, but we backed her over there and shut her off. Oh, and beer hold, there's a couple drops of oil on the floor, which tells me either it spilled off of, dripped off of where it spilled, taking the oil filter out, or a little bit seeping past. And I'm going to say a little bit seep past. All right. We're almost about done with this live stream. I'll have to go back up to the house in a little bit here and do some stuff in the house in preparation for Monday's barbecue, or Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports will not be happy with me. And if Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports is not happy, usually in a short order, I will not be happy. Happy wife, happy life, right? So I told her garage stuff today was just limited. I'm going to do a little maintenance on my bikes. So I want to take this one. Weather's breaking, man. So I'm going to clean this one up after I change the oil. And we're going to put some miles on this bike and make a video on it. Just a little riding video type thing. And I wanted everything to be kosher for that. My hand's cleaned up here real quick because I'm going to fire this bike up and drop it in gear. Hopefully the battery's still good. This bike needs a battery. It does fire up every single time, but that battery's old. It could use replaced. I don't ride it enough to worry about it. If it fires up, we're good. If it doesn't, I have two other choices that I can jump on and go. But me and this one, we just properly adjusted up the clutch. Let's fire it up, drop it in gear. Be sure that clutch is properly adjusted. It should be, but let's check it. I'm washing my hands because I don't want grease and dirt and oil all over my damn switches and grips and controls. It's a pet peeve. Honestly, when I work on stuff in the old garage, I didn't have running water. So I used to wear gloves all the time. A couple people talk shit about that, but work on stuff all the time. Wearing gloves makes it easy. Peel the gloves off, do what you do. Your hands are clean. All right. Y'all ready for some noise pollution? Hopefully she'll fire up. Battery ain't great on this bike, but she should fire. Got enough play in the clutch. Fuel. Choke. A couple of primes. Key. She should fire right up. Hopefully. Okay. Well, that tells me one thing. I'm going to pull a little more free play out of this clutch. Not much, but needs a little more free play out. Once it heats up, it'll be a little better, but when it's cold, it's just a little tickle tough to find neutral. So that's a simple enough fix. Because I left just a tickle of free play. Not much, but just a tickle. We'll pull that little bit of free play out of it. Clutch feels good, grabs good and low like it should. Tickle more free play and she'll be happy. I mean, tickle less, excuse me. See, I'm thinking in terms of metric. Tickle less free play, she'll be good and happy. And that will be a 12. Yeah. 13, 12 and a half. This half better. Remove the rest of the free play. And she should be golden, ready to rock and roll. Okay. Dang it, was easier when it was on the lift. But, hey, it is what it is. That'll do. That'll do nicely. Okay. Get the lock nut snug down. And I'm going to kill it. Just lock it down like that. Yeah. There we go. She is ready to rock and roll. And I do believe that Monday should be a little nicer as far as the rain. So maybe we'll take this bike out and do a little riding video on it. It's so much fun to ride. It is. Look, man, every motorcycle and any motorcycle is fun to ride, right? If you're a motorcycle guy like me. But this one pulls hard and it just makes the coolest sounds in the world, man. Every time you get off the gas or downshift, it has that little back crackle. Bah! It's just perfect, perfect. Exactly what you want a Harley to sound like, Me anyway. So we'll take her out maybe and enjoy her Monday since I'll be off work. And it's got about a half a tank of fuel that's been in there since August. We got to burn some fuel out, at least maybe put 40, 50 miles on her. Burn that little bit of fuel out of her, and we got in a jug over there 5 gallons of good premium fuel with stabilizer mixed in it already. And we'll top her off with some fresh fuel. I mean, seriously, that's got to use stabilizer. I just don't ride this bike that much, and it goes through like 2 tanks of fuel a year. Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports is right. I probably should sell this thing since I don't really ride it, but I don't know, man. This bike for me was like it was something different. It was something special. Like, it was like a triumph, a personal triumph. I don't know, like a comeback bike, something like that. After going through what I went through in the pandemic and losing out on everything I had ever worked for and having to start from nothing, literally nothing. Buying that Harley was like something I always wanted, and I got it. And to me, everything about it was perfect and still is. So I don't know if I could ever bring myself to sell it, but all right. Actually, we're going to be using the press later. Yeah, be enough room. So that's that. That's all the maintenance and stuff that I wanted to do to my personal stuff, which was, as you see, nothing. Changing oil on one, adjust the clutch on the other. But it's done. Finish up the last of the coffee here. And I should do this. I don't really feel like it. But let's get this friggin' project over towards the box of tools. I really don't want to mess with this bike, but told the guy I would. Oh, that was a giant spider. Hi. I won't hurt you, spider. Don't bite me. Like I said, I told the guy I'd see what I could do with this. So let's. Tires flat. Brakes are almost locked up. Oh my goodness, this thing is a project and a half. It's gonna take some shit, I'm sure. But that's what we do here, right? We fix shit. We're not fixing nothing on it today, I can tell you that. I think what we are going to do is maybe pull the battery out and put it on charge. I think we're going to do that. I don't even feel like doing that, but actually, you might not even pull it. Yeah, you know what? It's not held down by any clamp, and if there was a clamp holding it down, it left the chat years ago. You know it's bad when the goddamn battery terminals are rusted. As I knock shit down everywhere. Be interesting for people tuning into the video that says doing some maintenance on my Harley Davidsons, and here I am working on a crotch rocket, huh? I ain't really working on it. At least not right now. Right now, I think we're just going to remove the battery connections because this battery is whooped. You know, on this side, let's see, y'all can see what I'm doing, right? Okay. And of course, it's one of them cheapo batteries that has a stupid little freaking block. I hate these things. Yep, we're not getting that out of there anytime soon. Oh, you rotten devil. You know what? It can just sit in there like that because we're not fighting it today. I'm not in the mood. It's supposed to be a me day. Work on my own shit. And then help somebody who doesn't have the tools that I have in the afternoon. There's a damn spider crawling under the seat. I don't want that bastard to jump out and bite me. I think it was a wolf. I don't think it was a wolf spider. They do bite, but you got about fuck with them to get bit by them. Either way, I don't feel like dealing with that today. So let me stand back a little bit until Buddy finds a new home in this garage. All right, I got the terminals off the battery. Let's go find a battery charger. I don't remember where the hell I put it. Put the battery on charge. Came down here at about 10:30. 2 hours in. That dude's supposed to be here with the parts that need pressed at 3-ish. I really don't like to leave a battery charger plugged in and alone. I don't know why. It just makes me nervous. It shouldn't, but it does. As you know, I have a very old, probably 25 years old at least, battery charger. One of the good ones. The new ones are crap. They're computer-controlled crap. They suck. They suck. So what I do is I have this stupid chintzy Harbor Freight battery tender, right? Years ago, at some point, the other clip got broke off of this. What I end up doing is I take a clip from this super cheap battery tender and I use this to affix this wire to the battery. And it works. I've never gotten around to crimping a new clip on there, and I don't know why. I guess I'm just lazy. But I never got around to doing it. I always just end up doing that because it's the last thing on my friggin' mind. Got an extension cord from here. You know what? I may not need an extension cord, huh? I think that charger just might possibly reach the plug over here. It would be really nice if it did. So I don't feel like moving an extension cord. Make sure it's set right. You want a 6 amp, 12 volt? No. I want a 2 amp charge. We're going to slowly charge this battery up. Oh, beans. Can we maybe do this? Is that going to be enough? Yeah, that's just enough, huh? To plug this in. There we go. Plugged in. Yeah, just a 2 amp. And we'll let that charge for a few hours. See if we can bring that battery back around. We got older crap batteries like that. Sometimes a slower charge like that is kind of what you want, less amps. Other people disagree. They'll say put them on till they boil. You can create it. You can sometimes create a dead cell by doing that. That may already have a dead cell. So we're going to do a nice slow essential trickle charge and see if we can bring that battery back around. I don't even know if I can fix this. I'm seeing Dyno Jet stickers on the bike. And the dude bought it because he likes these crotch rockets. He don't know much about dirt bikes and stuff. He don't know much about these. Supposedly the guy he bought it from had it tuned to change the power band down a little lower, which I know you can do with a Dyno Jet system. Well, here's the thing. That flashes the ECU of the bike. So if there's something wrong with the tune, that's beyond me. I know how to tune the fuel injection on that bike. Requires a tuner. I know how to do that one. And I do know that on them ones, when you buy your tuner to plug in, it marries to the bike. That style of tuner, that's just the way it is. That tuner that you spend $400 or $500 for is only going to work on that bike. So I don't know much about this. I have to go do some research. And if that's the case, homeboy's going to have to buy a $400 tuner and a dongle for his phone. We would set it up on his phone and we'll tune it here. I don't know. I'm basically going to go through this, fire it up, see what it's doing. I got it to fire up and run when he was here. I used a crappier crap battery I had. It was just enough to fire it up. Got it to fire up and run. It was idling at like 1,000 RPMs and it died as soon as you gave it fuel. So it could have a clogged injector. According to him, Honda House of Pittsburgh adjusted something with a screwdriver and brought the idle down from 3,000 to 1,000. It ran good. He brought it home, left it sit for 2 weeks, fired it up, and it was breaking up and stuttering. He filled it up with fuel, brought it back home. Then 1,000 RPMs is all you can get out of it. You crack the gas and it dies like it's not getting fuel. So it could be a bad fuel pump, could be a bad fuel injectors, could be ECU. I don't know. I do know I need to study a little bit on this. You bring me a bike to work on. You bring me any metric cruiser, I could fix anything on it. You bring me any Harley from 1999. Actually, no, any Harley from 1984, 85. All the way up to about 2006, I can work on it. I'm not a master mechanic. I'm just a dude that does this, you know. Sometimes I got to research how to fix something before I actually fix it, which is why my labor prices are what they are. So that's what we got to do. We're going to go up and do a little bit of stuff I got to do at the house and jump on a computer while that's charging and do a little research on exactly how to tune one of these things and go through, look for the obvious stuff, broken wires, bad connections. If I don't see anything like that, I'll get into it. And I don't know. I know on that white bike there, it's basically a process you go through, kind of like an older analog system car that would flash a code up on the speedometer. That's what that bike will do, and it'll tell you what sensor's not working and stuff like that. I don't know if this will do that or not, and I don't know how to do it, so I have to look that up. But once that's accomplished, and I got an idea of what I'm working with, hopefully the battery will have some charge. We'll fire it up, see what it does, look for the obvious. We can't find the obvious, we'll dig further and see if we can run diagnostics on the computer and see what it's doing or not doing. I love a challenge and I love figuring things out, so that's what I'm doing with this. And like I said, the dude did me a solid, cut me a break on labor for remodeling my bathroom, so this is what we're doing for him. All right, man, I'll catch you guys later. I gotta head back up to the house and do some stuff for Monday's barbecue. I will catch you later. Do me a favor, that like and subscribe button, treat it like it owes you money and smash it for me, will you?